Oh man.
All right. Are y'all ready?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, we are finally recording. Welcome back to another week of Talks, the official podcast of the alleycatway.com.
Whoop, whoop.
Woot woot. It's been like 3 weeks, y'all. It's been like 3 weeks, but it's okay. We're back and we're better. Yeah, we've been doing things.
And
We've been
we
doing a
bet.
lot of stuff. But yeah, in case y'all forgot,
All day.
Yes.
all day we're alive
Working
somewhat
for y'all.
Woo.
for you.
Material for y'all. Content for y'all.
Content creation. It's hard out here.
Y'all better love it. No, I'm just playing.
They will. They will. They have no choice
I'm
because we
not.
work with
I
talented
second
people. I mean, true. But in case y'all forgot who we are, my name is DAKA. I'm your host, along with my two amazing co-hosts. I'm gonna start to the right this time.
Naya, aka Sunflower SHAKUR.
Hey,
Hello, Torian, aka BLEU.
hey, BLEU. And we have an amazing special guest with us today. She's just sitting over here looking all coy and stuff. Like she doesn't know who she is. The doll
Beautiful.
herself. Let's introduce her. Hi, pink-haired person.
Hey,
Little
I'm
fairy.
Kara, and my hair radiates.
It does radiate.
It does like a little spray.
It actually glows in black light.
Ooh.
You know, I was gonna ask that earlier because I feel like it would make sense.
Yeah, me and blood and semen, we all
Oh,
we all glow in black
what do
light.
these three things have in common? And that's the name of the damn episode. Me, blood, and semen. There we go.
What a nice title.
What a nice title.
This is
Perfect for
nice
Halloween.
over here.
The
Yeah.
three things.
Yes.
Murder mystery.
Spooky
Like,
Murder mystery.
What will get you caught up?
Me, blood, and semen.
That could be a nice little murder mystery.
It could, right? That's the tweet. That's the tweet.
I like
That's
that.
it right there. Get that.
Well, thank you for joining us, Kara. You've been with us all day, pretty much. And
Still happy to see your face.
So happy to see your face. All right. So,
Let's
Kara,
go,
tell us like who you
baby.
are. Why are you here? Because like, what's the point in you being here? Why are
I
you
mean,
here?
it was my understanding that I am the world's first and foremost expert on adulting.
Okay.
This is true.
So, hence my presence here.
Hence your presence.
Who made this decision?
Uh-oh.
I just want to know who, and then I want to know based on what.
If you have to ask, you don't know.
Okay.
Well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
She said get
Yeah.
information.
That's that.
I'm not in the.
You and this
I'm
get
not-
information
I'm not
today.
in the top tier. Well, teach me, please. I would like to be in top tier adulting social circles. 'Cause- Is there
Yeah.
wine?
Of course, there's wine.
Okay.
It's
Shout out to the
varieties. There's just wine.
Just
There's no
Just
food.
wine.
That's fine.
Oh,
Wine is
that's
good.
nice. Yes.
All right. So y'all heard it right. We are talking about the infamous adulting today.
Yes, I.
Big sigh because I have issues, and I'm pretty sure y'all might have some too.
Ooh.
Yes.
TAWKS Declassified adulting survival. Guide.
Ooh, yes. TAWKS Declassified Adulting Survival Guide. Shout out to Neds
Mm.
from back in Nicktoon
Yeah.
days.
Shout out to Weed for making me think of that.
Shout out to Weed.
Well.
All right.
Weed
so,
and wine.
Weed and wine.
isn't that like the best combination ever? Maybe.
I wouldn't know. I'm sorry. I've never had the two together.
I haven't either, actually.
Oh wow!
It sounds
I
good.
have, like literally yesterday. I would have today if my stomach didn't hurt. But
Fair.
you know, it's always wine drink's the best drunk.
It is. Because
Oh,
it's just like a
definitely.
slow creep. It's like it slowly
Yeah.
gets you. It's not like a boom like liquor.
Smooth.
Yeah. You can coast for like the rest of the night.
That's true.
Like beer's a bitch. Like I love beer, but that motherfucker will sneak up on you. Like you'll just be casually, and next thing you know, you like 20 beers in. And you're like,
So these
whoa,
aren't strong. This is fine.
pretty fucking drunk.
You know, the first time I was drunk off just beer was at a wedding that I was in for a coworker back in Ohio. And I don't think anything of him being Mexican has anything to do with it. However, his brother told me this is the way that Mexicans do receptions, and they shotgun beer. And that was my first time shotgunning a beer. And I was like, okay, well, whatever. I guess I got to do it because I'm one of the groomsmen, right? And that was the first time that I was actually ever drunk off of a beer. And it was just, like they poked the hole in it,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
and you just,
Yeah.
and while I'm drinking it, that's when they tell
you
me to
drink
watch for cutting my
beer
mouth.
More quicker.
Yeah.
It gets you drunk like crazy. Like if you do a power hour where you take a shot every minute,
Mm-hmm.
by minute 12, you feel like them seconds
Yeah.
is speeding the fuck up, and you're like, yo.
And
I
see,
swear I
I'm
just
not
took a
I'm not a
shot.
big beer drinker, but that day, surprisingly, I didn't pee a lot because usually beer makes me
That's
piss.
really what it is. That's how I
And that's the
up
reason
here,
why I
'cause
don't
pee
like
all the
beer.
damn time.
I was like, just give me
Yeah.
some liquor and I'll be fine.
Right.
I don't remember the first time I fell in love with beer, but I know I love it.
And there we go.
Love alcohol.
So since we're talking about beer and alcohol, is beer and alcohol, can we safely say it's one of our coping mechanisms to deal with all the shit that we have to deal with as adults? Is that safe to say?
I think all of them are, yes.
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
So why do we even need those in the first place? Let's get into this topic. All right. So first and foremost,
Segues.
first and foremost, what even is adulting? Let's talk about what that is. So adulting, for those that don't know, is the process of acting, quote unquote, like an adult. And
being in this weird betweener phase of I still feel pretty fucking young, but damn, I gotta take care of my fucking self.
right?
Is this what my mom was doing? Is this what it feels like when you come home and the chicken out in the fucking sink?
This is
afterwards?
I
not the
understand
same
there's so
thing
much
that I
more
saw
in
as
it.
a kid, though. I want to, like, I got questions, and I want to take the people to court that made adulting when we were younger, because I'm like, listen, this is not what y'all
This is what
portrayed.
we were promised.
Like
The lies.
the lies.
Yeah, they pretended, and it did us a disservice.
Actually, I
Yeah.
don't think anybody pretended for me. I think they was real, and I was just like, okay,
Yeah.
like.
Because I remember being like, I can't wait to turn. I don't know what it was with
Mhm.
26. I can't wait to turn
What a year.
26.
Right.
It was never 18. It was never 21. It was 26.
26. That's interesting. Yeah.
Honestly, I probably was the same way, only because I'm born November 26th. So I'm weird like that with numbers.
Yeah.
No, I always look back at I'm like, okay, I'm 27 now. I'm like, damn, I was just 18.
Mine was 19. In my head,
Yeah.
19 was going to be the best year of my fucking life. Was it though? It might have been. But
Wow. Well.
not of my life because I have
Thus
more to
far.
go. And my life is pretty like snazzy. But I mean, what year was that in college?
That was
Like
sophomore
that was
year.
sophomore year? Yeah.
That was sophomore year.
Yeah.
So let's debunk some of the biggest lies. What are some of the biggest lies that you feel like we were told about being adults? I would say, I'll start for me. I think the biggest lie, and when I say lie, I don't necessarily mean that my parents like just straight out like lied to me.
Right.
I think it's more so like what was portrayed.
believe
Yeah.
something to be.
What you believed, or like what was portrayed in the media. I'll start just from high school. For me, it started in high school. I'll start there. I saw fucking That's So Raven, Taina, and all that. I said, "Ooh, high school's gonna be
Taina.
fun! Like, I'm gonna walk around in colorful lockers and like meet all these
Yeah.
colorful people and look like I'm 20 at age 15." That was a lie.
That was the biggest thing. Like I'ma look like that.
Yeah.
And there was this girl in my school named Diana who's looked 21 since we was in middle school. So I really thought like
Yeah.
it's okay. I'ma catch up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't even think I caught up yet.
To be honest, though, I
She
feel
still
like
look good.
everyone who's 17 now looks 21.
Yeah.
do.
They do.
Because they
And
got
blame the internet.
YouTube.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they
Yep,
do
yep.
their makeup perfectly. They don't have the ugly face.
They don't.
And they even had the
know where they
tutorials
get
for the
their
hair.
wig.
Yeah. Like,
And I'm just like, what the
We
fuck?
sitting up here with them damn wispy ass
Amar's
bangs,
going through
ponytail.
it. Goddamn it. I'm
They're
making
missing,
sure
like,
of it.
A key stage in development, though. Like, that's going to come back to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, cause like, oh, you got hot that fast.
Yeah,
Like,
Right,
you don't have
right.
to like develop a personality if you're that hot. That
Thank
fast.
you. There you go.
Yeah.
that's very true.
That's
Yeah.
why I'm delightful.
Right. See,
Yes.
we took time to grow into
To
who
come
we are
into
now.
this.
And now we're cute because I was ugly. I'm sorry.
I
Well,
was
you
ugly,
weren't ugly.
but
I was ugly, bitch.
I was still my regular self. I was still a jerk. Like, it was like, I don't give a fuck if you say what you gotta say. What I said was still true. Like, I don't know why you bringing up facts I already know. Like, I already know that about myself, but we talking about you.
True.
But I feel like mine was, if I turn on the lights in the car, it was like I was breaking the law. Like, you know, when you turn on the light.
Oh,
okay,
yeah,
got you,
yeah,
got you,
yeah.
got you.
I remember. I was told that too.
Aw.
Actually,
I remember those.
Well, naivety. Yeah, I dead ass. I was getting in trouble, then I realized because they can't fucking see. And I'm like, why
That's
didn't
what
you
it
just say
is.
that? Like, you
Yeah.
made me feel like I was like the police was gonna come if I turned on that fucking light. Like,
I think me is you would always have money type thing.
Mm.
oh my god.
Because I'm like, where me and my
That's a
cousins
good
talk
point.
about my grandma now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was 3 households, and of course, grandma's household, grandma and granny. But I'm like, how in the world? Where did they get the food from to just send food to everybody and still have food when you came back during the week after school? And then I think about my parents, my mom and my aunt. I'm like, where the fuck did y'all get money from? Because I'm over here like, yo, hey ma, I know but can you?
No,
you know?
Dad.
And I'm like, I don't remember them asking for
remember
money
them
unless I
in the
didn't
house
see it.
all the time, and I'm just like, that is not my life.
Right.
But I realized it's because like back then they were able to do a lot more with less.
That's very true.
That's very true.
And so they had like these good jobs that was paying $40,000 plus a year, and just got out of high school. Definitely a government job. Like they was looking for volunteers and shit. So they'll take you.
That's
So
true.
it's just like they was able to get good paying jobs without as much work as we have to do. We have to go get whole fucking master's degrees to get $20,000 a year job.
Thank you.
And it's just like
Because I was literally just talking to my mom about that when I was home, and I was like, she was talking to my cousin on FaceTime, but we were talking all together basically, and I was like, it's crazy now that when I was coming out of high school, it's that whole push that you need to go to school, need to go to school, need to go to school, need to go to school. And then it was, okay, now behind us was going into technology field, technology. Now it's reverting to, they want kids to go into trades. It's all about a trade. Like it's reversed. And I'm like, it's crazy now that a bachelor's degree is almost the equivalent today of a high school diploma.
It's actually less than, to be honest.
Yes.
If we're being completely honest with it. And that's the thing. I saw that on Twitter. I don't know what the original like discussion was, but people were talking about the whole, like, someone had made a comment about like, why couldn't someone make $50,000 like as a single person, like stretch or work, right? And I was just like, because that's not a lot when you think about it by today's standards. Even as
I was saying the cost of living today compared to back when.
Then it depends on how often you get paid, like how your increments are, what taxes are being taken out.
What taxes are the thing? Yeah.
And even nowadays, you gotta. Am I gonna put the whole 8% into that 401k so they can match it, or do I just stick around here where I can still have a little bit extra in my check?
That conversation's beyond me. I'm not at that level of adulting yet.
That's the other thing. That's a good point. I think there's levels to adulting. So if we had to guess, or we had to say what level we're on right now, on a scale of 1 to 5, what level of adulting would you say you're on?
What would be an example of a 5?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll say a 5 is...
paint a picture.
Home. You own a home. You own something. Home or car.
Okay. You own something. You have...
I think a 5 is like house, right?
That's what I'm saying. Like, you gotta own something.
We'll go with 5.
Yeah,
we'll go. 5 is like a house.
A house and a car.
And your own health insurance.
Your own health insurance.
1
you have
is
a pretty good credit.
Yeah, pretty good credit.
Oh yeah, good
Savings.
credit. That's a big one.
Good credit. So
And
owning
you
a
got
home,
furniture in your house.
facts.
Stable relationship.
And you can buy laundry detergent all the time. And you like
you have a closet that's just full of laundry.
Like I'm like,
Right, you have like spaces to keep things.
You have a Costco membership.
Your house
There you go.
Costco, and you cook dinner.
2 dogs.
You go to the gym.
oh.
Well,
You're an Instagram influencer.
right.
Oh God.
And you get paid to go, hi guys.
So I know you've been asking about my nighttime.
Who's asking?
Nobody.
No one's asking.
Show me the receipts.
Show
Oh
me.
my God.
Okay, well, if we're
That's a 5.
that's a 5.
Jeez.
So since we set those standards for ourselves, I'm about a solid 2.
I think you could be a 3. I think you could be a 3.
Yeah, I'll give myself a 3. I'll give myself a middle of the road 3.
Yeah, I could even give you like a 3 point. Like you have a house and a car. Like
That's very true.
That's true.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
You're probably more of a 4.
yeah.
All right, I'm a 4.
Oh, look at that.
Wow, I'm not as bad as I thought.
I'm a 1. Like I fluctuate. Like sometimes I'm a 3. I'm a 1 right now.
I would say you being a mother makes you at least a solid 3.5. Like being a good mom too.
Oh.
Well, you are. You're a good
That's
mom.
the second time you heard that today. I really
Oh.
appreciate that. Okay. I mean, I always put my child first, so that's adulting.
That's key. Because there's a lot of people that
big
don't.
adulting.
So,
Yeah.
I definitely like adult. But that's why I say I fluctuate. Because, like, in my head, I'm young as fuck. And, like, what do you mean bills? But I pay my bills. Oh, that's also level adulting. Like,
paying bills.
Paying bills. Like,
On
are
time.
your bills covered?
On time.
Or not? Like, covered my bills, eating ramen all week. That's the tweet.
That's the tweet. It's a thing, y'all.
Yeah. So my hair is pink. I don't think we covered that in the intro. I kind of want to flip this on its head, right? Like,
flip it.
I think my lie of adulthood is that it should look like a 5.
Oh, you know what? Okay, interesting.
Right. And I think I've come close to the like super stable job and relationship and dog and the house and the car. And I looked at that and I'm like, I'm actually not happy. This is not filling me up. This is like what I've been working toward for forever. And I finally am here and I can't do this.
That's real.
Interesting.
That's very real.
Very real.
So like a few months ago, I was probably a 4. Now I'm hanging out at 2, but I think I'm better for it, to be honest.
Yeah.
That's real.
Pink hair.
Perception.
That's very interesting introspect, like for yourself, because I don't think a lot of people will get to that point and think or reevaluate themselves to be like, okay, this is not it. A lot of people would stick with it thinking this is what it's supposed to be, this is how it is, and I finally got it, and be miserable for 20-30 years.
Ooh.
Yeah. I think in
that.
reality, if we're thinking of adulting, it's like, what are we adulting by society standards? And then like, what are our standards of adulting? Because I agree. I handle what the fuck I need to handle. I take care of myself. And so it's just like, I guess that would be a 5 if it comes to, is adulting being responsible overall of your well-being?
And being self-aware too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or is it the society standards where you got to have the 401k and the house and the car and the 3 in the I'll say 3 in the apostle, goddamn spade.
You let that ace walk, how?
But the husband and the 2.5 kids and the white picket fence and all of that.
I never understood the 2.5.
Me either.
But that's interesting. I think that's
It's 2 kids and 1 on the way.
Yeah.
Oh, I literally never got that.
It's always, keep her pregnant.
Barefoot pregnant in the house, in the kitchen. Yeah, that's the thing.
See, for me, I don't know where I'm at. Part of me years ago, if this question was posed like it was, I'd be like, I'm on my way to a 5. I'm a good 4.7. Right now, after a series of events, I think I'm around maybe a 3.3. ish, somewhere in there, just coming back up from that, you know what I mean? It's like,
same.
You have to, I'm in a part of rebuilding and reestablishing myself, and I think that it's been interesting. But I think that's why I would put myself at 3.3. Like, I would almost say 4 if this was May of next year, because my car would be paid off. But we still making payments, so
hey, listen, and I'm about to get a car payment. I'm not looking excited for that. But I think,
hopefully.
Hey, speak it. Let's do it. I think what was very interesting is the fact that, like you said, like, are we living by society standards or by our own standards? I think, Kara, you made a good point of that. Like, you were at the whole societal standard part, like you had the man and the house with the dog and all the other bullshit, and then, but you weren't happy, and you finding that happiness was only after that. I think that I would say the biggest lie that the generation before us told us was, like you said, you have to have all those things and you just stick with it. The biggest thing I've heard from like people in the older generation is that y'all don't commit to anything. Y'all don't.
We get that a lot.
Y'all don't stick. Y'all don't see anything through. Y'all change careers every 2
or
every
you don't
2
fight.
years.
You don't fight for it.
Yeah,
and it's like, what do you mean?
I would have stayed in that job for 30 years at that pay, because as long as it was bringing food in the house, and I was like, I don't know. We were born at the right time, because I couldn't have been no fucking slave. I would have got my ass beat This mouth I have on me, like.
Listen, I would have
swear
been
to God,
Kunta. I'm trying to tell people.
I can't conform. I can't conform. And that's why I got fired from my last fucking job, because he wanted me to be like this kiss ass. And it's like, I'm not a kiss ass. And I'm an adult.
Yeah.
I'm grown. Definitely not. I pushed the fucking baby out. You got me fucked up if you think you want to speak to me like you. I don't even let my dad or my mama speak to me this in the way some people come at me. So it's just like I don't like that whole, well, this is the professional world. There's a hierarchy. Yeah. I'm allowed to belittle and speak down upon you.
Absolutely
and
not.
Because
like
that's not what it is.
Because it's not. It's like I don't speak to me that way, and I won't speak to you crazy. I'm giving you the energy you're giving me. Right. And frankly, I try to be I try to fake it and be nice, but I bleed it through. Like there's just somebody told me like women, we just have this way about us where we can't fake our funk. Like we're emotions. So like even if we're saying the words and trying to be respectful, like you behind it is like a bitch. Like so.
And that's real. And even with speaking on the emotions of women, I think when it comes back to the workplace, and it's proven in a lot of workplaces, I mean, look at a lot of the CEOs now who are women, and a lot of women that are in politics that are holding their ground and taking over. And it comes out that, women are unstable because of their emotions. And I'm like, no, because in every household, that woman.
Wars have been started by men.
Right. But
usually
women are the ones to help keep everything cohesive throughout time. If you look at, and you go back to the traditional times, right? Air quotes were used. In the traditional times where women were to stay in the house and men went out and work. Well, when a woman was at home all day, she took care of the bills, she took care of the kids, she took care of, the whole house. If the house wasn't working,
God bless y'all.
All he did was got up and went to work, right? But he took care of home. If you really look at that in retrospect, women took care of the home, women ran the ship, and that's why when women get into positions in the workplace,
they already know
of higher,
and talking about
they already know how to do it.
The lives we have, we're given that narrative of that's how it's supposed to be. Right. So we think, oh, nothing's wrong with that, and it's cool, and we grow into it. And it's not until you're an actual adult and you go to work and you come home and you do all this stuff by yourself, and then like you merge with somebody and they're trying to make those dynamics happen, and you're like, the fuck you mean? Right. I was at work all day too.
Yeah, and that brings up a good point, because Kara and I, we talked about this before when we were talking about the Fantasia video. Okay. I don't know if you saw it, but Fantasia and her husband, they were on Instagram Live, as everyone likes to do their iOS press releases. And like, they were talking about a recent interview Fantasia did on The Breakfast Club, where she was talking about being submissive, essentially, to her husband. And so like they went back on, like kind of explain both sides of it. And it was a very interesting conversation, because there were some points on both sides, but overall it was to me, it was still a little cringy, only because I can admit that I'm not a traditional thinker at all. So like traditional roles just don't work for me at all.
I don't like when things are assigned traditional roles and it's just like, I feel like basic common courtesy. Like, for example, I would fix Aaron's plate. And it makes me think about the Huxtables, where he was like, "Oh, you want to fix her a cup of coffee? That's cool." Or no, she was fixing him coffee, and the son-in-law was like, "Oh, and she read him."
I remember that.
Bit of filth he was. That's what I think about. It's just like, no, he makes my plate. I make his plate. Yeah. I'll make your plate. Like, like my mom was like, I don't make my man's plate. Your dad wanted me to do that, and he was so disappointed. Like, and then her boyfriend now, he'd be like, so the tacos done, and she'd be like, and the plates are in there. Right. Like
I think I can count the time I saw my mom make my dad's plate. Because it was like, okay, the food done. If anything, she made our plate as kids, but when we got to like 14, it was like everybody fend for themselves. It just didn't happen unless she was just in one of those moods where she was like, I guess I make the plate. Right. And that would be the tone. Like,
And I mean, I grew up in a single parent house with like a mom who's a superstar and, did everything. So like she fully wore the pants.
But back to what you were saying, like with the growing up with the narrative with women thinking that's how it's supposed to be. I think it's important that when having kids, especially with little girls, that it's established early, because I did that with my niece. I let her know early on, like, as a female, you are not subjected to the standards that society will tell you that you have to operate by. That's not what we do.
And that's something you gotta like be.
Yes.
Because like I can say that, like you said it, but next week she watched a TV program that erased that right out her mind.
And it's nice because we and her started having those conversations, maybe young to some people, but you know, I always thought I was this little
gotta be
person,
real.
right? But we started these conversations when she was like maybe 6 or 7. And we just always had that conversation. I also had the same conversation with my nephew, you know, with the things of ultra masculinity, especially with Black kids, right? And with her, you know, it was funny because as she got older and especially into her middle, she's 16 now. So when she got around like 14, 15, she would watch certain things and she would call me and be like, Uncle Tori, this is what's going on the show, but you told me that, and I'm just trying to figure out, and I got questions. Is this really? And we would have a full conversation about it. And I was like, dang, we got that, that in there.
Yeah, she's inquiring and not just taking it.
Like, like thinking like maybe I should talk to somebody about this, but just play it out.
And I like that she takes it to her little cousins and her friends that's her age and stuff too. It's like, okay, each one teach one.
Reaching back to pull forward.
Well, you know.
Look at you. Oh, man.
I'm a proud uncle, y'all.
You are proud.
You are. I was like, you gotta see the pictures.
Yeah, you guys can't see the smile, but it's incredible.
All right. So let's get into some of the more. Let's do this. I want to do like a quick little fire round. This is like a vent session because I think this is really good to have. I think it's really good to vent about things. So, like, what is something that's pissing you off right now about this adulting journey? It can be the fact that paying bills is the fucking stupidest shit in the world. Like, why do I have to pay for water?
Oh God.
Or whatever. Like, what's on your hearts? What's on your minds? Because you know, Kara, what vexes you right now?
Oh man, there's a list. I think one of the things is that I'm a woman working in like kind of photography and tech and videography, and like every time I've been in a space where I've been working with other people, I'm surrounded by men who all immediately are like, if you want pointers, let me know. And I think I still like take on this, like I feel the need to be nice in response to that. And just like, oh, thank you, I appreciate it. But really, that grinds my gears. I don't like that you have to wear certain clothes in the workplace. Just like peak adulting the other day, I was speaking in public and I had a black dress and I spilled coffee on it and it wouldn't quite come off, and I drew on it in Sharpie to get rid of the stain and make it look more black.
That's innovation.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought about doing that.
No.
That's it. It's okay. There's things.
I do well under pressure.
You're fine. You're fine.
No, you brought up a good point, Daryl, about like this made up world of possession and like having to contribute to somebody's idea of society and what it needs to be. And it's just like, you don't really fucking own that water.
Yeah.
You don't really fucking own this building.
Right.
I mean, I guess, yeah. But
maybe,
but like in retrospect, like you can't take this shit with you.
Right.
Like
right.
when you die, somebody else is going to buy it, and money's fake at the end of the day. Like shit, half the money in this world isn't even tangible. It's electronic and fucking fake. And I don't even want to get on that when it comes to banks. Oh, don't bank. Credit unions for y'all. Credit unions. But like, it fucking sucks. You turn 18. And now you gotta start doing shit and like be responsible for shit that you never fucking asked to be responsible for. And if I don't, I'm gonna be homeless. And I gotta live outside.
Yeah.
And that's not fair. Or like recently, a situation happened where like somebody was like down in the luck and they had to like dress a certain way for like an interview. But I'm thinking like if they're down on their luck, I feel like you should, like you said, allow people to dress how they can dress until they make the money to dress the way is deemed more professional. And life is a catch-22, and that shit is so fucking annoying. So fucking annoying.
They're just there's just so many standards that you feel like you have to meet.
Beauty standards.
It's like when you're a kid, you don't like when you meet people, you don't immediately say, "Oh, what do you do?" You know. Now that's like that's how we introduce ourselves.
We thought we was gonna have a car, a house, and a great job by like 25.
Right.
I thought I was gonna be married.
I was gonna be like having
that's why I had
my first kid already.
That number 26.
I did.
Yeah.
That's what you said.
I did accomplish that.
You did have your first kid.
But no, like you really think that's what life is gonna be like? It's smooth fucking sailing. It's so because TV, it got to skip certain portions.
Yes.
So it's always like. They're in high school now. They're in college now. They're in the work world now.
And they made college look so fucking easy and fun, right?
Like, oh my God, when you thought college was going to be like stomp the yard, you was going to be booed up, laid up,
man,
doing homework. Oh my gosh, it's nothing like that. I mean, it's lit. Depending on what college you went to. It's lit.
That's true.
But it's not like that. It's not like that at all.
And there's like you don't see the day to day either. You just see like these big exciting moments.
Yes.
Like you know, tension and comedy, and then you get to life and you're just like, I straight up just like am waking up, going to work, coming home.
Yeah.
My favorite thing is like when the new kid comes to school, or the kid that even though y'all been going to the same school for 3 years, you just noticed that person, and they make eye contact,
they take off their glasses, and you're like, oh,
and now like they're dating. And it was like, that's what dating was. Like, you made eye contact.
Somebody's going to notice me and it's going to be
they're going to ask me out. And that's it. Like, it's like, no, rejection's real.
Yeah.
You get it majority of the time.
Yeah.
Like, you might not even be ugly. Somebody just don't like you, made up a rumor, and now nobody want to mess with you. And my favorite high school thing where everybody had each other's number and like send out the mass text to everybody.
So
I didn't get those mass texts.
Ours wasn't the mass text. We had the three-way calls.
We had three-way calls.
Torian's a little older.
I'm saying in media, like they take like they do something and it's like, oh, I'm gonna send it to everybody. It's like,
right,
got you. And I have everybody's fucking number in high school to send it to everybody.
Yeah, that's very true.
Just like you said, Kara, like with the drama, the tension, all that good stuff. I think one of my favorite movies is The Devil Wears Prada. You know,
yes.
You know,
Miranda Priestley.
Y'all know I love her, but it's just like that. I think that the whole Andy character, right? I think me and you were talking about this the other day. We were talking about how that movie and the way that she handled situations and the way that people reacted to the way she handled situations. I think that's like a perfect summation. I think because I hated her friends so much, like because I was just like, y'all really are just giving her shit,
like ooh bags, spa stuff, and then like she had to go to work, like
she had to go to work to get that shit for y'all. Y'all are like clowning her for going to work.
Y'all taking her phone, like fuck out of here, like you gonna pay my bills,
right?
Like I gotta go to work. What the fuck is this?
And then her boyfriend. Oh, I hate him.
The boyfriend was that one was the one,
and he really pissed me off.
It was like really.
I loved him since Entourage, and
the actor's great, but
but he was this douche.
He was a complete.
He was a dick.
And you know what though? It was like seeing their two different paths of being adults, right? Yeah. He was still. I mean, they were both
content where he was.
I was about to say he was complacent.
I'm meeting my ends. I'm
kind of in the area where I wanted to be. It's not exactly. You know, the chef that I thought I wanted to be, but I'm in the kitchen.
Oh, yeah.
And he was complacent with that, right?
I got a girlfriend. She's cute. She sleeps with me. We're good. Life's good.
And I think, and you notice the only reason he started hating and getting upset was because she no longer wanted to be complacent.
Yeah.
And I think that's like, I think when he talks about like relationships with adults, I think that is something that we see a lot of. That is something that we experience a lot of. Like, I shouldn't be in this same place next year.
No.
I should be growing,
But
right?
we also shouldn't glamorize like working yourself into the ground.
Very
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
And that's what the other part we had on that discussion about the movie. On her behalf, it was like, at what point did she, because she lost herself for a little bit.
Yeah.
She lost herself being in tune with, this is where I'm trying to go, this is where I'm trying to grow. And she worked and worked and worked and worked. And eventually was like, okay, I don't care about losing my boyfriend. I don't care about losing my friends. And eventually I don't care about losing myself, because she gave in and said, give me a makeover. I need to look like this. I need to be like this. I need to, flow like this.
But can we not say that was for the better though? Because she looked a lot better after
Yeah.
that. But that's beside the point. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, she looks fabulous,
I
but
feel
you know,
like you can be yourself and have a conforming merge, and or you can just conform. And I felt or you can find yourself once you conform. Like,
and she
that
did.
might be, yeah,
because at the end of the movie, she was like,
she found
"Bitch,
herself.
fuck
Like,
you."
she still, and even like you said, at the end of the movie, she still had like a better style to her. She didn't revert back to who she was. She still dressed it up, but you can tell.
But you could tell she was her.
Yeah.
She was more Andy.
Yeah. And so I feel like, there are times where you have to be a little, fit in, but you can be yourself and fit in.
And you get you get ostracized for that as well. I remember when I worked at Verizon, it was my first job out of college. And I remember when I decided I wanted to try to move up and go into an assistant store manager role. And throughout that, you have your relationships with your people that you work with, right? Your coworkers and your people that you come in and y'all, hey, what's up, what up, what up? And I remember some of them pulling me to the side and was like, you've changed. And I was like, what do you mean I've changed? I hadn't noticed that I changed. But they're like, you changed. We can tell you're trying to grow. You're trying to go into, get promoted. And I was like,
Did
okay.
they say it that eloquently?
They said it just like that. You've changed. And I was like, okay, well, explain to me what it means that I've changed, because I don't see anything that I've changed, right? And there was this one lady, older lady, Miss Deb, very, very cool. And she was like, no, I'm not saying it for the bad. I can just tell you're now prepared yourself to move on to the next step, and it looks good on you. Versus the ones that were my age were the ones that was like, oh yeah, he's pompous now, he's cocky, this, that, and the third. So they were, kind of throwing that little dirt there to keep me, to the store manager. Well, no, I don't think because he's not a team player anymore, type of thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how am I not a team player? And I'm getting sales for the rest of everybody.
It's that crab in the barrel mentality. It's just like, and I think that's another thing.
We have the same opportunity that you
same
can go
opportunity.
for.
And you've been here longer than me.
Yeah. Like,
when you start to succeed like that, I think you really see like the true colors of the people around you. Because some people will like lift you up, and some people just can't be with you.
Exactly.
I was told I was bougie because I wanted my name pronounced correctly at work, and I was asked to stop asking for it to be pronounced correctly, and I was like,
wow.
Well, then I'll stop answering to whatever they say.
Yeah, because that's not my name.
Like, yeah, I was like, and I would say that, like, or I'll call them a different name. Like, fuck it, if we're
that's what we're doing.
We can play that game.
Like, my name's 4 fucking letters and 2 syllables. What the fuck is wrong with y'all? My 1-year-old knows how to say my name.
I'll say something that, Kara, I'm sure that you can attest to. For background knowledge, Kara and I used to work together. That's how we became friends and all that good stuff.
I had to force the friendship.
She did, because I was telling her, I literally, and that's another thing. I'll say this is another kind of lie, or like something that you see like with adulting is like, well, I've seen like when people are talking about like, don't play where you work or don't whatever. Like I was literally like, because I was like my first like job.
Got you.
And I was just like, I'm not trying to make friends with y'all.
I'm just here to work.
I'm here to work, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I was like, but then we sat in the office together, like less than, like as close as me and I are sitting right now, like for 40 hours a week. How could we not have conversations or like have a relationship? It'd be weird as fuck if we didn't,
Yeah.
But like, I'll say something with our past position, we dealt with a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? A lot of nepotism, a lot of, you have people that have been in that position. Something that one of my really good friends told me before is that people, like especially the older generation that are in these jobs that have been there for like 30 years, whatever have you, that don't know how to fucking open a PDF. They get upset when we come in and we are on the same level or maybe a little bit above, because where we are starting is where they're ending.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? And I think we dealt with a lot of that at our last position.
Yeah, I remember the first time you said that to me. I was like, ooh. Yeah, you can't like compare their end with your beginning.
Yeah.
Like, you're 45, divorced with 2 kids. No shade, but you're an admin assistant. I'm 27. I just started working. I'm also an admin assistant. I'm going up. This is like your job after, you had to start working again.
No, yeah, that was my other reason why I can't be complacent at work, because I have people who are speaking to me a certain way, and I told my manager that. I was like, look, this her fucking life. Like, this it. Like, she gotta make sure she take care of her kids. Like, this is where she at. Yeah. She ain't trying to go no further. She ain't going to go no further. And this is where she at. It's not where I'm at. So I'm not about to sit here and deal with BS knowing that I can go get another fucking job and I'll be okay until then. Because one, I was single and just me at the time. So it was just like, I always used to make sure I had at least 3 months rent saved up. Because I get tired of people. And I will quit my job like 6 months. I used to have a 6-month threshold. Quit my goddamn job, and I'll just sit at home for 3 fucking months and like self-care, depress. I'll find something in month 2 and start interviewing then, and then I'll get a job and work it out. Like, it's just, and I guess that's why older people hate me, or our generation. But it's just, I just can't deal with disrespect.
But I think that's another part of adulting too, because you learn, you go through that phase, and I think for people who go straight into one job, it's great, not knocking it. But when they go through and they go into a job young, and that job works out for them for 7, 10, 20, 25 years, and then all of a sudden, now they got to go back in the workforce. They know nothing else. They have no transferable skills. So although some people see that as being a negative, you don't stick around.
Brought that up.
It's
the
like
skills portion.
Yeah, you gaining different skills and experiences.
I said that to somebody, and he looked at me like I was a fucking idiot.
Oh, I've had it too.
It was just like, I was just like, I'm experienced. I said that. I said, I don't mind having all different jobs that I've had, because I see it as experience. Like, I can say that, like, I've been in these different parts. I've met a lot of different people. Yeah. I've gotten to do a lot of things that I wouldn't have done if I didn't take that job. And it gives me a more rounded respect of the work world and people. And that's,
you're able to work with various different people outside, on like, whatever level.
Being on that, like, fast food, being on the outside and ordering, like, that's why I try to be way more respectful. Cause I don't know what the fuck. I know it's hot back there. I don't know what you're dealing with. I don't know if you just had a rush. I don't know if you ate today. I don't know if you had to work somebody's shift because they ain't come in. Cause I've had to do all that. So I try to be just as respectful. People who come in and want to be, well, this your fucking job. You Popeyes work like that.
Like, you're talking about, you're building empathy and adaptability, which are, like, I think the two most, that's like level 5 adulting right there.
Right. Listen,
at the end of the show, we all decided we're, like, level 5.
Yeah.
Look, I'm talking about everything.
But as we're talking, we are though.
My hair just got 3 shades brighter. You guys.
There we go.
But to that point about, like, continuing to change jobs, what they're seeing is that you actually are, you can get paid more after working a job for 3 years and then moving somewhere else than you can just staying. So it doesn't behoove us to actually, like, have the loyalty that the generation above us is like, oh, you should have.
And then let's just say, I mean, companies aren't as loyal to their employees anymore as they used to be back in the day.
Like, it's hard to get even good benefits for some jobs.
Thank you.
Know what I'm saying? Like, I'll say, like, the job I work at now, it's
I didn't have health benefits in my last job.
See, like, the job I work at now, it's with the county, and, like, I understand, like, the old, like, other people tell me, like, oh, that's a county job, keep that, like, that's, and I get the securities there, as far as, like, healthcare and all that stuff. I get that totally. And my thing is, like, to what you said about having transferable skills, I've always been a very linear thinker. So for me, when I didn't get a job in my major right after school, like, I didn't know how to take it. I did not, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've been in school, like 13 years worth of school at that point, and then college, and, like, knowing what's next, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, you do this, you get an A, you get this, you know, that type of thing. When you graduate, that's not how life works. I think that's where school doesn't prepare you for what actually happens in the real world like that. You know what I mean?
Your major didn't prepare you Mr. Summa Cum Laude in art. I love you though. You're brilliant.
Thank you.
You are a brilliant artist though. Thank you. What was that exhibit that I helped you? I was like doing serving the food.
Oh yeah, that was our senior show.
Shit was amazing.
Nice.
I gotta see.
I believe it.
Work for that.
Yeah. But I do like that point about, school preparing you for linear thinking. Because that really is, if I had to like talk about adulting, that's what it's like. You're on the straight line, and then all of a sudden it's just like dots everywhere.
Yeah.
And you're like, how do I get from one place to the next? What is the next place? Who am I?
Yeah. When I was in undergrad, I was trying to start this program at the school called Change. And it was just pretty much about gaining those skills into adulthood, because it's like you said, you just get thrown into it. I don't know, like most people don't even know what a fucking checkbook and how to deal with it, how to balance it, how to properly build credit, how to change a fucking tire, like just simple shit that you're expected to know and to maintain in adult life, and you don't learn that shit. But I can take walking for an hour. And it's crazy. And when I was a freshman, this is adulting example. When I was a freshman, I said I'm gonna make my schedule to the point that senior year I can take fucking walking and do easy electives and have fun and bullshit. And freshman year had way too much fun. So from sophomore year through, I went to summer school every year because I was like, I'm graduating on time. Yeah. Fuck it. I took 21 credit hours. I was pretty much in the gym, in the library, or at my apartment, fucking flat. I studied the most I've ever studied in my fucking life because I was like, I'm going to make sure I graduate on time. And by the time I got to my senior year and I got the opportunity to pick nothing but electives, I was like, that's a waste of my fucking money that I gotta pay back in student loans to bullshit. Yeah. And I was in a philosophy class, and she was like, if you sign up for like 3 or 4 more classes, you can be a philosophy minor. I was like, oh shit. Yeah. That's a much better use of my time. Yeah. And then
that's what I did with ethnic studies.
Yeah, and I was really about to bullshit, and I felt like way better about myself that I did that with my last year.
But that's another thing too. Like, I don't think I fully, I worked in high school, but I didn't fully understand the value of a dollar before I took on like $50,000 in debt. You know what I mean? Like,
and see, that's the other thing.
Going shopping, buying food, tattoos.
Because I go back, I talk to myself a lot actually with that.
I do too.
As we all do.
Because I was about to say,
those are the conversations you need to have
in the shower every night.
Listen, and I'm like, if I had done, now granted, when I got my refunds in college, I did pay my rent up for the semester. Yeah, I bought my books, and then whatever was left after that, that's when I went shopping or whatever, and then I still worked at the same time. However, looking back on it, I'm like,
I should have did more.
I should have took the remainder of my refund money
and started paying it back.
Went home, or paying it back too. But my thing was, I should have went home, went to the courthouse auctions for the houses that had been foreclosed and took by the city. Some of them don't even get some of them you can get for a bid of $1. I would have never had to pay anybody to remodel them because that's what my dad did. So me and him would have done it together, and I could have flipped houses while I was in school, and I don't think about that now, but I definitely passed that down to my niece and nephews.
Hindsight's a fucking dick. Because when you have that hindsight and you're like, oh, my life, like I could be a millionaire. Like,
I could be sitting real pretty coming out of college.
I was like, I should have did study abroad.
Yeah.
I should have traveled more, whether that was just to different universities. I definitely should have did a lot more. I should have used my money more productively. Like when you pay off your rent for the 6 months, you feel accomplished, and now you feel like you gotta treat yourself. But we didn't know what treating ourselves truly was at that point in time. We thought it was
because at that time I was like, oh, I'm super responsible. Even I still got a little bit out.
Right. Even now when I get paid and I pay like my bills for like however up until whatever date that needs to be paid, I'm just like, ooh.
Right.
I
got some money left over.
Ooh, what can I do? I'm like, oh, let's put it in the account, put it in savings account. But I think also to your point, like not knowing in like hindsight, I think every generation is like having more and more insight into things. So like the generation now, like how we're talking, like they don't have to go through the fucking ugly stage. They know how to do their fucking makeup by the time they're 12. Like they know, like I always used to get so pissed, and this is gonna sound crazy, but I always like whenever you see those stories like, oh, this 9-year-old has like, you know, created a book series, and it's like, you know what I'm saying? I'm just like, what the fuck was I doing at 9?
Listen, doing feed and braids the other day.
See, or I can't remember her name right now. The one that
Zaza.
Little.
Zuzu,
the one that wrote Little.
Marseille.
Yeah, I was like,
oh yeah, Marseille.
I was writing at 12, but I wasn't thinking about doing a whole fucking movie and it getting picked up. Like, I wish I could have been me.
See, we also didn't have. We are literally the internet. Yeah, we are literally the internet generation.
That's very true.
So like the internet came up with us. Like we are the ones creating the things now, and like the people like right before us are the ones that created it for us.
Right.
So like we are the beta testers of all that. So we didn't have like influencers to look at and to like pattern our lives off of. We were still reading magazines and Word Up and watching.
I was about to say, we were that generation where we were stuck in the middle. I call us the middle generation because we know DOS, right? We know the games and everything where you click.
Yeah.
But then we also know when PlayStation and Xbox and the rest of those were coming in, and all the different technology from a whole brick of a cell phone to iPods and iPhones and the evolution of those. Whereas the ones behind us, they come straight into this, and they know, this is all they know
for a while. But they're about to have another technological.
Oh yes,
for sure.
And I'm not ready for it. I don't like any of what's coming out at all. I don't like when I was younger. Self-driving cars sounded fucking cool. Fuck that. Yeah. Like there's a fully automated car with no steering wheel now, and I'm just thinking. And then
they're beta testing the ones that actually fucking fly, like the Jetsons. And I'm like, I don't know if I want that.
I don't think they're thinking about like the long-term consequences of self-driving cars, because then we're gonna like start this expectation that you would never get time off.
Exactly.
Like right now, you could be in the car, you could be walking around, you can leave your phone at home. There's gonna come a day when the expectation is that you're always plugged into a device.
Yep.
I can't stand that.
And that also, one thing that I seen when you talked about the technology boom, I read it on Travel Noir, actually. And they're bringing up Google is going around, like, for Black people, because biometrics aren't able to read with our skin tones. They're going around actually paying people to take pictures of, us, so they can filter it in to work with face reading and face recognition that is, being in airports. I didn't know that Atlanta actually has something working now. When you go through the gates through TSA, they scan your face now for recognition purposes. And I was like, interesting. Now, the thing that the people that are doing, when I read the article, that they're doing with Google, they're not telling people that they're actually taking a selfie of them. So, and if you do agree to it and they do tell you, they're only paying you $5. And it's like, $5 to give away my identity?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Your identity, I mean, I feel like your identity's gone. This world sounds like it's
it's already gone.
It's not what it used to. Like
it's hard to fall off the grid these days.
It is. I mean, everything's fingerprint or,
When I hear people that are actually like living off the grid, I'm like, how?
You can't live
like,
off the grid.
I don't see, like, I could try and disappear tomorrow. But like
eventually you're going to get found. I mean, there are like very remote places that nobody goes to, but the way that YouTube world where people want to like search abandoned shit, if I have this house that's like this long drive and somebody feels like they discovered it, that's what America is. You feel like you discovered something, it's yours.
Put the flag down.
Trespass. So, people be going into like random people's homes or old homes or abandoned homes, or what they think is an abandoned home, just because they found it and they want to show YouTube, like, look at me going into this house. So, no.
I work with a guy that doesn't use a cell phone, and I'm like,
how? Is he by himself?
No, he has a wife, he has kids, and I'm like, so my question is, does your wife and your daughter have a cell phone?
Actually, to be honest, there have been times in my life where I didn't have a cell phone, and I was perfectly fine. It was weird in college because I didn't have one, and like random people would come up to me and be like, your mother said call her. Who the fuck are you?
I remember your mom did call me a few times.
They'd be like, I'm Alexa's friend. She told me to tell you. And,
oh, yeah. Your mom called me a couple times. She's like, have you seen my daughter? Oh, she's right here.
My mom would call all my friends trying to find me. And I'm like, see, I don't need a phone.
Yeah.
And landlines.
I just got rid of my landline like a couple of years ago.
Well, I don't have anybody's number. I have my mom's number memorized. I was going to say, like, even if I had access to a landline, who would I call?
Yeah.
I try to remember my friends' numbers. Your number's easy. I'm trying to remember it. Like, I keep forgetting, but like.
Yeah, I don't know none of my friends.
I realized I knew one of my friends' numbers when I was drunk. And I really needed it. And I was so proud of my fucking self. Mm-hmm. Oh, my God. I was like, yo, I thought it wasn't there. But it was.
Yeah, but I remember having to memorize people's phone numbers back in the day.
Right.
No. By heart, you got like 15 people's numbers in your head.
Right. Mm-hmm. And now if you, well, at least for me, if I try to think of memorizing everybody's number, I'm like, oh, no, that's too much.
Mm-hmm. There's already too many numbers in our head, like
names.
social security number, my login for work, my passwords. You know?
Oh, that's adulting. I learned that in high school. Like, somebody was like, you don't work. I said, how? And he said, because you don't know your social security number by heart. If you work, you know your social security number by heart. I was just like, why you say that? And then I realized you got to put that shit on
everything. Sign your life away is what I was told.
I think more than the actual cell phone, I need the GPS. If I didn't have the GPS, y'all would never see me. I wouldn't be here today, to be honest.
Thanks.
That's
real. Lost. I'm directionally challenged. Like, I would get completely lost. Like,
Do y'all watch Black Mirror?
Yeah.
I haven't.
Well, okay. So overall, Black Mirror is taking technological ideas or things that are already in place to the extreme. Like, what's the most extreme this thing could be? Mm-hmm. So one of them was having a chip installed in your child because the girl's daughter disappeared and they found her, so they put the chip in her. So then that way she can always know where she was located. Mm-hmm. But the chip also had a parental guide on it. So the mother was able to control what the dog, like the daughter saw like a dog that was scary. Yeah. It was blurry.
It let her censor what the daughter could take in.
Yeah. So daughter never like saw blood. She didn't know what like cutting herself looked like.
Oh my God.
So it pretty much turned into the daughter like whooping the mom's ass because she was so overwhelmed with how suffocating the mom became. And
because she couldn't wrap her head around violence because she'd never seen it. So to kill her mom wasn't really anything.
So it desensitized her in a way.
But in the idea of putting a chip in your child, because I watch Dateline a lot. And when I watch these things, oh my gosh, I swear to God, tomorrow's about to be in the house playing pick up sticks. Because it just
goes off from the world.
It'd be so crazy because I think about growing up, latchkey kids. Mm-hmm. You like, I am honestly, I have faith because I am not dead. Like, if y'all knew how many fucking bad situations I've put myself, dangerous ass situations I put myself in at young ages, I've been watching Dateline like, yo, that could have been me. Yo, that definitely could have been me. Definitely telling my parents that I'm in like Maryland, but I'm in DC, like just not being where I'm supposed to be at all times. And I that shit is scary.
Yeah, don't do that to Amara. Coming from the kid that mother did not at the extreme, but yeah, she had that whole Jeffrey Dahmer phase, and I was the one that caught it versus my brother. So he was able to do a lot more stuff than I was because it was always, well, you know, they could take you, and then I can't find you
out here.
And I'd be like, what?
I remember my first social network ever was Facebook. I never had a MySpace.
Oh, really?
I never had a MySpace because my parents.
MySpace made you feel like you was a fucking
I wasn't allowed to have MySpace.
Hey, like, you over here like, yo, I'm about to make
smart
my
as shit.
Yeah. Like, be
putting in code.
So I would go on my friends' MySpace pages and live vicariously through them.
Right?
I'm like,
that was me with Instagram. I told myself that I was not allowed to have an Instagram until I got an iPhone because I felt like it was an iPhone app. Like,
it was at first.
Yeah. So it was just like, I'm not getting it when it came to Android. I was like, no.
You know, I was against all social media in college. I mean, I had like the MySpace and the Facebook, but when in Twitter, I had Twitter.
Twitter was lit.
But when Instagram came about, I was like, what? When Snapchat came out, I was like, oh.
Yeah, I wasn't into Snapchat, and then when I was like 7 years later.
Yeah.
Like, I saw people doing it.
Right. And I was
my
like,
sister got on Snapchat first, and she was just like, you need to get a Snapchat so we can snap. I was like, I'm not doing that.
And then I was on everybody else's, and I was like, okay, this kind of kind of fun.
I don't need to see like 30-second increments of every song in every concert you've ever been to.
And I was like, I felt almost narcissistic with Snapchat.
That's the thing.
And I was like, maybe I'm not enough of it.
And that was why I couldn't, because I was like, and I was telling y'all, like, just like when we were in Miami a while ago, I was just like, I'm not gonna post pics until later. Like, I'm really bad at like trying to do that whole in the moment type situation. Like, I can't.
I actually didn't even take
I'm about to say, I forget
many pictures.
Never do it.
Yeah.
I was just enjoying the moment.
Exactly.
And I look back at my phone, I'm like,
but you see though, I think that is an adulting growth
Throwback
thing.
Thursday, like I don't got shit. I just be in the moment.
Yeah. I enjoy the moments.
That's an adulting growth thing. Being able to be just present in the moment and not have to feel that you have to show it to everybody at that moment, like right there. Because chances are, ain't nobody watching that shit anyway.
Right.
Nobody. That's like one of the most relieving things in the world to me. Like the fact that if I stop posting, no one will care.
Right.
And you realize that when you realize you don't care. Like, you're like, yo, I don't care about this. I'm not really looking at this. I'm not really paying attention to this person. They probably do have the same exact feeling like I'm having.
When they post the stories and they're like, hey guys, I know you haven't seen me for like a week, but here's what I've been up to. And it's like, oh, you were gone?
Yeah.
Right. All the time. I'm just like, I didn't know you was gone.
Definitely with the algorithms. Like,
there's plenty of people I don't see for months. And I'm just like, oh, wait. And I scroll back. I'm like, oh, you was posting.
You was posting. You posted
like,
2 hours ago.
Exactly.
Didn't even know.
I didn't even know I was following you anymore. I see somebody had a whole family. I was like,
right.
That's how I want, and that's how I want it to be when I finally get a family and a man and all that stuff. Like, it's just going to pop up. Like, I didn't even know he was dating. You're never gonna know.
You're never gonna know.
Nothing. Engaged.
Right. Essentially, you're never going
like
to
when
know.
that happened.
no, 10-year anniversary. Nothing. 10-year
10-year anniversary with our 2 kids. It's like, what? How? When? You were posting other things. Oh, you're right.
You're right.
I was.
I also didn't post these 50 pictures, so that gave me a good 9 months of photos. That
Just like I have so much content from the trip, because I was like, this is just for like the next like month or two. Like, I don't need to post.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe wait.
Take me back.
Take me back. Right. I mean, seriously. Take me back. Really, take me back. Oh man.
My favorite thing in the world is when people, like, you can tell they just want to post a picture and they're really like trying to find a caption that works.
Really
like,
trying.
I just Flashback Friday.
I just stopped. Like,
It's hot today. Remember when it used to be hot and I was at the beach?
Right. Pretty much. It's like, and I've realized that good content creation in general is just like, I ain't gonna do all that.
Join the temporary trend. Like, just
what?
leaving this up temporarily, going to delete later.
Felt cute. Might delete later. I've never done it.
I did that, and then you don't delete it later. Well, I'm deleting it at this point.
Because for me, I never understood the logic. Like, okay, you're posting it, and you're just posting it to say, I'm going to take it down.
That's because you don't feel confident in it. And then next thing you know, next thing you know, you get like 100 likes on it. And you're like, oh,
I'll leave it. Yeah.
Can't take this down now. Gotta give the people what they want.
But you know, and that's the thing too. I think that's the other thing that kept me from before I got into, because I started using Instagram for pub purposes for my plays.
Mm-hmm.
And then when that ended, I was like, why am I using this? But I never got into the whole likes thing. Like it was like,
it's a trap.
Okay, somebody
it's a trap.
liked it. Whereas I have friends that be like, oh my God, I got 400 likes in like an hour. And I'm like, who cares?
It's just weird because like there's no formula that I found that will like do so. I'll put up a picture that I think is just like, you know, okay, it's cool. Like, it's not,
and
I
then
didn't
they
like
blow
pose
up, right?
for this. I didn't like edit this, you know, whatever. And I'll get like fucking like 9. I've never actually gotten over like 150 likes on anything. And the one I got 150 likes on was our graduation pictures from college. You know what I'm saying? Like, stuff like that. People are like, oh, happy. Even my birthday picture, like, you got like 20 likes on that shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, so, and like, it doesn't matter to me, but like, I realize there's no like set. It's just the luck of the draw.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's because the people who follow you aren't the people who appreciate you. You follow people who've known you in high school. And
that's very true.
You in college. You got to follow your crowd where they see your fly ass outfit that you put together and the fact that you got your background looking fucking dope. Like, where are you taking this? His backyard. Like, you gotta. Those people need to be following you, and
that's been a big part of my growth, right? Like, I work in like social media marketing, and you know, like I track likes. You know, I live for the likes. I get paid for the likes.
You do.
But like, I've gotten to the point where my personal social media is just about like creating content that I really am proud of.
Yeah.
Because I do enjoy that. Sometimes I have to like, am I narcissistic? Maybe a little, but
I think you have to be like in a little
empathy,
bit.
sweetie. No.
I'm level 5 adulting narcissist.
And that is it.
Black Mirror had likes as a rating system for the world.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, what levels of society are you privy to based on the amount of likes and ratings you get?
Yeah.
And
so like you would rate anyone that you interacted with. Like you held the door open for me and I give you a 5.
Yeah, 5.
You know.
Oh, that was
so it's like it's like building social capital.
Yeah.
It was
literal
like,
social
you smile
capital.
at me right now.
That's crazy.
Got you. That was on the episode of Gumball too. Where they rated each other.
Yeah. But you know what? And just on that note, I was listening to a fashion podcast. And y'all remember Miss J from America's Next Top Model? So she was, well, she uses she, he, her. All of them. They were on the podcast and they were talking about just what you're talking about, the likes and everything. Now, Miss J is a legend. She taught all the girls how to walk, like Tyra and all of them. Like so the work speaks for itself.
Right.
But even now,
if Miss J had an Instagram when America's Next Top Model first came, if Instagram was what it was when America's First Time Model, that joint would be in the millions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But see, and even they were saying
Nobody
that
know who Miss
like
J is now.
right, they were saying that even though they've obviously put in the work, it's their resume speaks for themselves. Like they're like, I've had people tell me, oh, we need to get your metrics up. Oh, like we need to get your likes up. We need to get your followers up. And he's like, what the fuck I've worked with this person,
right.
this person. Like, what the fuck you mean? Like, you're not gonna hire me because my likes aren't up.
You go on their page and they got like 200 people following them, but they also got a picture with Barack Obama, Beyonce. Like,
I realized in my research, like I started following like behind the scenes people, like makeup artists, stylists, whatever else. Like a lot of people that are really actually doing shit out here, they don't have a big following.
Yeah,
and that's why they say like billionaires and stuff. You know, they don't got the picture with Ellen. She was like the richest person in the picture, and she had like $20, and like everybody else was holding them stacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the people who are actually like out there doing the work, they don't have time for that.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter. I heard somebody make that comment about like negative feedback, like people who, you know, throw shade or put like hateful things in comments on YouTube and Instagram. It's like people who are actually doing shit don't have time for that.
They don't. They don't have time to be a troll.
Point blank.
Well, wait.
I'm an exception to that rule because I do a lot of shit, but I have time to not be a troll. I'm your troll.
You
I'm
are my
Daryl's
troll.
Oh my gosh. I'm getting you ready for the world.
You are,
man.
though. I'm prepared. I do feel
humble.
prepared.
Like,
I've been personally victimized by Niall
just
Tabron.
random hate thrown at him. Like, defend yourself. Do it.
Pretty
But
much.
anyway, I feel like there are times, like, I see, like, how you got time to watch my page. Should you be at work? I am at work. I just turned in my documents. I'm multitasking. It's called multitasking. I got time. But there are people who like will sit the shade room comments. I hate when I go in the shade room comments and see people say, what are you doing posting this? What are y'all doing with yourselves? First of all, they're making money.
That's literally their
This is
job.
I was about to say
That's
This
their
is
job.
their
yeah,
job.
that's their job.
And if you notice, a shade room post is like 600 things a day.
A day.
And it's not one person doing that.
Right.
It's a team of people. So for you to sit there and be like, you don't have a life, that is what their life. This person got Gucci Man page. They're supposed to watch Gucci Man page all goddamn day and night.
They get a check.
Content from Gucci Man. Catch him calling somebody a fuck ass bitch before he delete it. That is what they're
That's their
supposed
job.
to do.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you, what the fuck are you doing?
Right.
That you're in
That
the
you see it every
comments
time and comment.
commenting.
That's
Thank you.
the same thing. Some people make those.
Yes.
The same thing when people make those comments of like, so and so spent this on whatever and da da da. Why y'all pocket watching? Why y'all always worry about what someone else was
Right.
like?
What was that show where they talked about like the riches of a celebrity
Lifestyles of the Rich and Fabulous. I used to
Yeah.
love that show.
I forgot
Of
about
course
that
you
show.
did.
I did.
that used to be a show, but
Yeah.
now because they're doing it on social media, it's stalking. Like
Right.
stalking's
It's like that's
relative.
also public information.
Relative. Change the name of the episode to Stalking is Relative.
Right.
I mean,
I mean, it really is
It is,
because if I like you, Hey, you popped up at my house and I never told you my address, that's romantic. But if I don't, it's creepy.
I was gonna say, nah. What? Because I've had that happen and be like, no.
You ain't really like him like that. You just thought he was attractive. You ain't like him. But if you liked him.
No, it was a whole little, it was mainly because we had talked about that before.
See, that's different.
Yeah.
You establish a boundary. That boundary is established. That's where you know there's disrespect. That's when you know this is kind of creepy. That's when you see their character and you're like, I set a boundary. You're crossing it.
But now I got told I was wrong because they were trying to do a romantic gesture, and surprise me with something. But it was still like, well, we talked about this at the same time.
I'm not the type of bitch that likes surprises.
So it was like, we talked about this.
Well, like that movie where the guy is standing in the window with the
boombox.
Like that's supposed to be
That's it, yeah.
That's supposed to be romantic. But like I said, if you don't like the guy, you don't see that gesture as romantic. You're like, dude, like I just told you, get the fuck. Like, what are you doing outside my window? I'm trying to take a nap. I got work in the morning. You got a whole boombox outside my window. Like, so it's just, that's why I say it's relative.
Do you ever think that you will ever feel like you've mastered being an adult?
No, looking at other adults is no such thing as mastering. Like life can put you on your fucking ass in a second. Like it just takes it could take weather could fuck your life up forever.
That's
like,
true.
That is true.
I mean, because think of the people that got hit on the coast last year with the hurricane. Still
recovering.
I mean, I was in Dilworth earlier today and there was a downed tree and it hit like 2 different cars.
Wow.
See,
in an instant.
If a tree hit my car, I'm not prepared. I'm not prepared. You know what I'm saying? I'm not.
No.
And it's like, I think something that I saw like growing up is that I just knew. I was just like, oh, like I used to be like, how am I going to pay bills? I don't know how to pay bills. Like, I don't know. Like when you actually start doing it, and I say that it's easy, but you realize that it's not in some ways as complicated as you thought it was.
Right.
It's just literally like, especially with paying stuff online.
It's like a little system.
Put in my card number. Here you go. That type of thing. But I think it's always about a growth process. Like we said before, like I don't feel that you should be still in the same place, like mentally or whatever have you from year to year. I feel like you should be growing. I mean, like we said, like there are times they're going to try you like hell. And then other times they're just going to like,
give you an abundance of apples.
And those apparently always seem like they're few and far between.
Yes.
And then it's when you have to like look at like the little moments. That's when it's like, oh, I paid all my bills this month. Little victory. Yay me.
I think I'm more interested in adulting on a characteristic retrospect. Like, as you say, growing, being a better person. No, I think when people think of adulting, it's about what is the word lineage? No. What are you leaving behind?
Legacy.
What legacy are you leaving behind? And it's like, what is your definition of a legacy? Is your definition of family? Is your definition of multi-million-dollar business? And I feel like my definition, for me, what I've always wanted to do, and I think that's why I kind of accept any position I'm in life, is because I kind of just want to like touch people. However you want me to touch you. But no, I want to help people. Like my favorite memories are like when I see random people and I just start talking to them and like there's something going on in their life in that moment that I just so happen to have knowledge on and wisdom to give them. And it's just like, I feel like I'm supposed to be here because I don't know you. We just started this conversation and now here we are. Like when Dr. Anita was on here, we was like talking stuff and our androgynous shorty Nikki, she was giving us fucking gems and it's just like
because she had us in almost tears.
That's what I want to do. I want to interact with people and leave a presence in their life and have them, even if they don't remember my name, but the feeling that I gave them, and I want them to give that to somebody else. I want to pass that along.
And see, to me, that is what a legacy is, and that's something that I share as well. And I started that with my niece and nephews, especially being that how young they were when I went to college. And my nephew did not handle it well at all because he just couldn't understand
Why are you leaving?
Why are you leaving? Well, I'm going to school. Well, you was going to school and we seen you every day because their daycare was in the school. So it was like, well, I seen you every day. What do you mean I can't go with you? What do you mean you're going on the highway? He just really didn't grasp that. And then I brought him up to school with me and let him walk around the dorm. And he went back to school in second grade. Like, yeah, I went to this university and it was da 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 da.
Yeah.
And he still remember those moments.
Yeah.
And to be able to still talk about that as he grows, and then hopefully he passes it on to somebody else.
Yeah.
Or does the same thing, you know, bringing with his little
And
brother or cousins. You know what I mean?
What somebody's going to remember.
Right.
Whether it's good or bad. That's why you should try to leave the best impression.
Exactly.
I've said stuff to people and shit. People said I said certain shit. I'm like, I don't remember that. And even though I don't remember it, they clearly do. It was an impact for them. And, you know, so you got to figure out what type of impact you want to make.
And I've started learning to live, because I used to have a timeline, y'all. I used to have a strict, hard timeline. It wasn't nothing that...
No fluctuation.
No, none at all.
We here.
And then it was a painful process to go through that, and it was not happening. And it's like you knocking your head against this cement wall.
That will
and then eventually it breaks. And it's like, okay, what do I do now? And I started learning to live more in the moment. Yes. And when things don't work out exactly how I plan it to work out or vision for it to work out, I had to learn how not to let that bother me, because a little bit of OCD would kick in. And I'd be like, yo, this is not what, you know,
like
you have to learn to relax.
Where it's like J.K. Rowling, Oprah, all what they were doing at 23 versus where they're at now when they got their braids. And, you know, you try to force yourself to beat those timelines, reach those milestones. And that's like we said earlier, 26. That's when shit is supposed to be happening.
Right.
And then you realize... I like when you really think about what 26 is, like most of my life, my brain wasn't even fully developed.
Listen, that's true.
And like I did it. I've only really had 10 years of experience in the real world and of knowledge gaining, and that's nothing to a 50-year-old or a 60-year-old or 80-year-old. Like there's so much shit that they've seen and they experienced and they know, and it's real when like you think the boy not liking you is end all be all, and then you get older and realize like, no, I know what the fuck end all be all is now. And it, you know, it's that retrospect and perspective and hindsight of all those problems. And
because when I look back at 26 compared to 30, there's definitely been a lot of growth there, and I'm proud of the growth that I've had. But when I look back on it, I'm like, did I really know myself at 26? No. I didn't know myself at 26. I was. You
think you do?
You think you do, right?
I know myself better than my 21-year-old.
Right, right. Yeah. And at that time, I thought I knew myself because I was 3 years out of college.
Yeah.
I was, you know, getting ready. I had moved to North Carolina. I had left Ohio. You know, I'm on my own, and I'm like, but when I look back on this shit, I didn't know myself, and I still don't fully know myself. Do I know myself better now?
Yeah.
Yes, but do I fully know who Torian is? Have I fully experienced who Torian is? No. Not at all.
That brings us back full circle. What you were saying earlier about what you thought your perfect life was, and that you had it, and then you learned this is not my ideal picture. I thought it was, but it's not.
Yeah, it's weird because I think my tendency has been like, as I age, I like try to like learn and try to figure out the world, but I have always like tried to learn it so that I can like find my path and, you know, achieve these like goals that I was always told I needed to achieve. And now I think I'm realizing that what my like best adult self looks like is actually like learning to not put things in a box and learning to not find a path and just like taking each day as it comes. I was reading this book. It was like the first time I'd lost myself in like a fiction book in a while. It's called The Ocean at the End of the Lane. And it's through this lens of like a 7-year-old boy. And there was a line about he was trying to run away from his family. And he was like, adults always walk on a path. They always find the path. But children wander.
They do.
And so he, like, in order to avoid being found, ran off into the woods and off the path. And I think that me being my best adult self is learning how to wander again and stay curious and not try to hit all of these points that I thought I was supposed to hit.
Yeah, I agree with that, and that part hurts.
It does, especially the linear part. Because
that's why, like, no matter how much money you have, depression is real. Well, one, because it's mental health and this chemical imbalances, and that's just real. But also, if you have all the money in the world, but you also think that you're supposed to be in a relationship, that you're supposed to be in love, that you're supposed to have kids, and you keep telling yourself, I don't have these things, I don't have these things, I don't have these things, instead of being appreciative of what you do have and what you are responsible for, that you can trick yourself into thinking, my life sucks. Like, I really didn't accomplish anything because I don't have every aspect of what's supposed to be life ticked off in a box.
And social media just like underscores that, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're getting their
Amplifies
highlights reel, which are the like points that you should be hitting. And so you're constantly bombarded with, you should be this, you should be that. When in actuality, like, are they happy?
Like,
exactly.
A prime example of that for me personally was that when we went to Miami and like people are like, "You never been to Miami before?" I was just like, "No."
Oh, they were saying it like that to you?
Yeah, I've had some people say, I've had some people be like, "You never been to Miami?" I'm like, "No, I just haven't been." Like, I not for lack of wanting to. It just never worked out like that. And I was just like, and that's why I was telling you. I joke all the time. Like, there's like 2 gay boy things I've never done. I never dyed my hair blonde. I've never been to Miami.
You definitely did. Say
I did say that. But,
you were blonde. You were blonde.
Like platinum, like Chris Brown blonde.
Oh.
Yeah, everyone went through that stage at one
next.
point. I think I've
what the
committed to
people
being
want.
bald now. I've committed. I finally let it go. I know Niall's happy. I've committed. I found it. But the fact of that being like, it made me. I was just like, well, damn, I haven't been like up until that point.
It's because people aren't taught that the opportunities that are presented to them, they should be grateful for, because other people don't have those opportunities presented to them. Like, my dad always told me I should feel grateful that he's in my life and I have both my parents actively in my life, because a lot of people don't have both their parents actively in their life. And I didn't recognize that really until I went to college and started talking to more people.
That's true.
Or
That's true.
Or that people don't get to try. Like, I went to Florida every fucking year. There are people who've never been to Florida ever.
Yeah.
So it's just like, for me, that's crazy because I went every goddamn year, and you're telling me that you've never even seen Disney World? Like, I've met somebody who never even had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Like, him, his mom, and his sister never had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Yeah. It's just about realizing like everyone's experiences are going to be different than yours. And then just on the social media point, like, some of the main trips are like Bali, Cartagena, which is fine. And like, Dubai was a thing for a while. Now Mykonos was like one of the latest ones.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
It was.
And like, it makes you feel, especially when you see people like your age going, it makes you feel like, well, what the fuck am I not doing right? Like, I want to go.
6 trips in 1 year, and they're like week-long trips, and you're like, what the fuck type of PTO do you have?
Right.
First and foremost,
that's the thing. Or like, it was someone, I've seen this on Facebook a few times. People are like, you up here, it's like McDonald's workers that work for like, 12 hours a week, making $7.25, going to like, wherever. And I'm up here in my full time, can't even get off, but it's just like that. It's stuff like that. It's just like, I started looking as humor for me. I started looking at like, when people going on trips like consistently or whatever, it's no shade to them, but just how I kind of deal with it. Like, it isn't, it's how I deal with it. I'm like, whose phone bill didn't get paid this month? You know what I mean? And,
I do the same thing.
and it's not, and I don't, and that may not, that's probably not even the case.
It's probably not, but it's just a little humor to it.
That y'all two have had to do, which is create your own avenue in your work field. I've seen people do that when it comes to this traveling shit. Like, a girl joined the traveling group. She became their photographer. She was traveling with them. They liked the picture she was taking. Now she's their fucking travel photographer. Yeah. And she's traveling all the time. Another girl, influencers. Now, companies are looking for that. Companies are hiring influencers. They want these people. They want these people with these large social medias bringing all these new population of people in.
And then there's a shift out west as well. Excuse me. Where a lot of companies out there are actually pushing their people to take 2-3 weeks to go travel.
Yeah,
like they get travel time outside of actual PTO time.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
that's crazy.
I mean,
please, West Coast is just too far for me for family. I'm like, I don't know if I could
qualify to do that. Like, there's this lady that is always talking about luxury cars. She's always talking about the newest luxury vehicles. And I'm like, what the fuck makes you qualified to come in here and just be like, because you're not saying nothing I can't fucking do. Like, she's not like talking about some engine shit that I don't fucking understand. Right. Like, she's just like, look at this soft carpeting. Look at the way this door rises up. Look at the way this is. It's lit up here. You're fucking saying what you see. I can do that. How can I get that job?
You know, I think that part of it is just like we said before, fake it till you make it. Part of it is like you have to. When I look at people who have platforms for things, I'm just like, who gave you a fucking platform? You gave yourself a platform. Just like, honestly, us doing this podcast, we gave ourselves a platform to talk.
Who the fuck am I to ask you who the fuck you are?
You know, within reason though, reason, because there's some people I'm just like, no, really, like who the fuck gassed you? Yeah. Really, you know. But I think that's part of a major part of it. Like, if you say you're that person, well, I have no choice to believe if you're that girl. Yeah, you're that girl. You're that girl.
A lot of it too, like adulthood is just kind of one big bout of imposter syndrome. Like a lot of us who are actually like doing things, like a college student reached out to me the other day, like from her marketing class, and she's like, I have to interview a marketing professional. Can I interview you? And I was like, no. Right, like, why me? Right? Like, and I think what I realized in that moment is that I feel like there's this agreement between all adults that like we're all just making it up. But when you look back at like in college, like you thought those people knew shit.
Right. I always used to think like my cousin was like 4 years older than me, and I was just like, I can't wait to like be grown like him. Like he's so grown, he's whatever. And like we talk now, he's like, bro, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And I'm like, okay, I don't know either. Cool.
Yeah.
But I think we're all like, we are all faking it.
Yeah. Fake it till you make it with everything. Work, hair, style, money. Yeah. When you know, just, and wait, pause. Sorry. Don't act like you got a bunch of money if you don't have a bunch of money. What I mean is pretend like you happy that you had to eat ramen noodles for the 70th time this month until you can get the money stably and you can eat steak on Fridays.
Because, man, let me tell you, I will not. If I absolutely have to, I have no problem with it because it's survival.
Yeah.
However, when I see ramen noodle in the store, I run.
That's how I am about sandwiches.
Because I lived off those things and nothing but those things for a whole school year in college.
Oh, no.
And paying out of pocket on my own. And I was like, oh.
I don't think I ever eat. I don't eat
I think like God knew he needed to make me a woman because I've always been able to like, oh, you bought pizza? You bought me a slice? I can have the whole thing. You're so sweet. She witnessed that happen. So it's just like I've always loved the ability to fucking get food when I need to get food.
See,
that's true. Even I experienced that when I would smoke a few times when I would smoke with y'all. Like when I have smoked, I've never paid for weed because I'm always smoking with girls, and girls get whatever they want. At least on my end, from what I see, I'm like, y'all just have to show up and be like, oh, y'all smoking? Can we smoke too?
Well, not me. Can my friend come? Everybody likes me because I brought weed too. No.
Yeah, I never paid because I was the person that really didn't smoke. So
there was that too. They'd be like, you don't smoke? Oh, we're getting you high,
right, bro. So every time I showed up, it'd be like, it was like an honor that I was there. Like, oh my God, T here.
We getting him high as fuck.
That was me. Like, I've always felt the need to bring somebody through their weed rite of passage. Like, oh,
and I would be sitting there like, oh, y'all happy? It's just me. I'm not okay.
Right. So I mean, I guess
is this how you face it? It'd be funny because like some people like they get like, oh my gosh, when I first started smoking, I was super giggly and goofy and smiley and just like anything can set me off on like a 15-minute laugh. Like anything.
See, and I didn't have that experience, and this is where I also got in trouble with when I tried to smoke with people in college. So my brother is an avid smoker, right? Always has been. I don't even have to be. He could be outside this door, and you could. The contact will come in here, and I will be in here, goofy as shit, like I hit it. When I got to college and would smoke with people, I'm like, "What is this that you bought?" And they would tell me, "Oh, it's hydro, da 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 da, whatever. No. It's loud." And I'm like, first of all, it don't smell like loud. They sold you some Reggie, and they would look at me like, "How you know you don't smoke?"
Yeah, men,
I've been around.
They really
I've been around.
To like
Literally
dumb
around.
people, like, oh, you little suburban, I never bought weed on your own as kid. Let me go ahead and try to jip you, and it's like, nah,
bro.
My cousin LaQuanda got me hip. So you fucking tried it.
That's me with CBD right now.
Come on,
I can tell you so many things.
I've heard great things about CBD so far.
Yeah, CBD is great. I had a rash on my arm because I'm allergic to all types of bug bites, and it was really bad. It looked disgusting. And my friend that had CBD cream for it, whatever, no matter. She gave it to me, rubbed it on my arm. 2 hours later, rash was gone. That shit was amazing.
Shout out to CBD. Well, guys, we've had a lot of discussion today. How do we feel?
Did like make a full circle.
Yeah,
we did.
Wine to CBD. Shout out to the real MVPs.
Shout out to it.
Listen, that was part of it. Weed and wine.
Yeah,
Weed and wine, man. It was
full circle.
Full circle. But I think this was a healthy discussion. I think we touched on some things. I think the biggest takeaway is just like, hey guys, we're on this thing together. We're all trying to find our lives and find our journeys here. We never had a High School Musical night, by the way. I still remember that. We need to do it. But we're all just trying to find our way in this thing called life, and focus on you. Focus on your happy. Whatever it is that
and be organic.
Yes.
Get rid of the timelines, get rid of the boundaries. Just be, like you said, just be you. Focus on
Level
you.
5
grow.
Self-aware.
Level 5 self-aware.
And that's Niall's therapeutic talk.
See, we just wrapped it up for you.
Thanks, Naya. We thank you.
Right. And as always, guys, make sure that you hit us up on our email, tawkspod@gmail.com. Let us know what you guys want to talk about. Let us know your thoughts on this episode. We're also on the Twitter and the Instagram.
I need to follow.
Oh my gosh!
I need to follow our Twitter.
On the Twitter.
I went back and made one just to follow our Twitter.
Smoking the marriage of weed.
The marriage of weed. All right. So we will see you guys in our next one. Make sure you follow us on all social media accounts at TAWKS Podcast. Thank you to Kara for joining us today.
You're welcome.
We appreciate you. And until the next one, guys, we'll see y'all later.
Peace out.